Today I have with me a very special guest, Omar. He also goes by OMZ. He's a producer and a rising artist in the Northern Virginia DMV area. Welcome to the show, Omar.
Thank you, Mustafa. Good to see you.
Hi.
Good to be here.
Yeah, Omar, so if you could just give us a little bit of intro about yourself, what inspired you to get into music?
Oh man, it all goes back to, just being a little kid, riding in the car with my older brothers, two older brothers. One is Hanif and one is Johannes, and they both put me on the old school underground hip hop, man. Because they grew up in the 90s. They're born in the 80s, grew up in the 90s, so they listened to artists like, Wu-Tang, Nas, Jay-Z, Big L, CL Smooth, Pete Rock, Premier, Boot Camp Click, all that stuff from the golden era. And, just being in the car, just listening to it, it was amazing. I just got hooked instantly. I mean, hearing the scratching, the hardcore bass and snares and those beats. And, as a kid, I'm just, along with the crowd, just bob my head to the beat, and I just instantly fell in love with it. And yeah, that's how it basically started. And as of now,
it all actually started from day one as a little child.
Yeah.
You mentioned, you said Wu-Tang, and who are the top three influences out of that whole list that inspired you to pursue a path in music?
Nas would definitely be the first one off the list. I love Nas. I think most of his music, most of his albums are classic, starting with Illmatic. Illmatic is probably one of the best albums in hip-hop of all time, if you ask me personally. But the first time I heard Nas, I think I was in the car with my older brother Johannes, and he was playing It Was Written, Nas' second album. He was playing songs like I Gave You Power, DJ Premier did the beat. Man, as soon as I heard that, I was just like, man, this shit is hot, bobbing my head to the beat. I was just feeling it hard, man. Nas is definitely up there. He's very lyrical. When he talks about, growing up in Queensbridge off his first album, Illmatic, some of the things he's been through, like seeing junkies in his neighborhood and, trying to make it out the hood, out the ghetto, with rapping as his career. It almost like kind of makes you feel like you're in Queensbridge and you're there in the song, almost like, so Nas is definitely one of my favorite MCs. Second, maybe Raekwon from Wu-Tang Clan. Raekwon's nice too, so.
Alright, actually right now we're gonna go get a sneak peek of OMZ in the studio doing his thing, and yeah, here we go.
What's going on, world? This is OMZ right here. I'm about to take you guys to the Throne Q Studios and just show you what happens on a typical day in the studio as an intern and engineer. Come on in. Check out all the platinum records we have. SWV, Mary J, Bruno Mars right there. Check out this beat I'm working on right now.
When did you start making beats?
I started making beats senior year in high school. I first used FL Studio. I think I downloaded the demo version, and I heard this Kendrick Lamar song. It's called Michael Jordan, and I love that beat. It's kind of trappish. It's almost like a trap beat. As soon as I went on FL Studio, I tried to imitate the beat and copied the exact pattern of the hi-hats, the way that they were displayed in the Michael Jordan song. And I guess that's how it all started. Senior year, trying to make the Kendrick Lamar song beat Michael Jordan. And then from there, I just kept practicing more and more and more and started getting better and better. I eventually downloaded the full version of FL Studio, because on the demo version, I couldn't save my beats, and so I couldn't really go as far as I wanted. But on the full version, I could start to save my beats and play around with the better plugins and stuff like that. So yeah, and as of right now, I still use FL Studio. So yeah.
OMZ Eternal. What separates you from the crowd, from all the people trying to make it in your industry?
The number one thing is I have a great ear for music. I know good music the second I hear it. I study a lot of classical records and artists like Bobby Humphrey. I study a little bit of James Brown. I mean, there's so many out there. I'm trying to think. Herbie Hancock. All the classic artists that producers like DJ Premier and Pete Rock sample is definitely what I go back and dig and try to study. And so yeah, like I said, growing up with my older two brothers, Hanif and Yahya, they always played underground hip hop around me. So that's the number one music that I like and that I instantly get with naturally. And so I try to blend and incorporate the old school stuff with the the newer kind of trap vibe.
So you actually study the music,
Right.
you get like an education, like a class out of it, type of thing, just because you said you study it.
Well, when I say I study, I mean like I go back and just listen to different artists, like from the 70s and 60s, and even some of the new stuff today, like even Young Thug. He's not one of my personal favorites, but I still listen to it. I try to understand why new artists like him and support him, why he has such a strong fan base, and I try to just learn from all rappers, all artists, all producers, and study people from the top, because I definitely want to be up there as a producer, but I still want to be real to myself and not sell myself out. Just making, just trying to follow the trend for money. You know what I mean? So
off that note, what are your dreams and what do you hope to achieve as a producer?
What I hope to achieve as a producer, I definitely want to be making a lot of money as a producer. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm in this, it's still a business at the end of the day, so there's that aspect to it. And I also just kind of want to change the trend in hip hop and go back to in a more original sound. Because a lot of people nowadays use like VSTs and a lot of electronic sounds and stuff like that. And that's one of the reasons why I sample, because I just like the natural sound of the drums and the piano and the guitar. That's why I sample some of that stuff. I'm sick of VSTs, sick of electronic plugins and stuff like that.
OMZ, how did your name come about? It's really interesting. It sounds type of like a spiritual awakening. OMZ Eternal.
That's exactly how it came about, man.
Name?
That's exactly how it came about. Senior year, man, I was going through a lot, man. That's back in the day when I was smoking weed like every day. I don't smoke anymore because it gives me anxiety, but I used to smoke all the time. And sometimes when I smoked, I would try to kind of dive deep into reality and understand why the world is the way it is, and understand the grand scheme of things. And eventually I just kind of got paranoid, just thinking about like the Illuminati and 2012 and hard chemtrails, things like that. So at one point I kind of did have an awakening. I mean, I felt like I started to look at reality from another perspective, like
So you had this kind of like internal revival type of thing.
yeah, I think I eventually just kind of found my real self, and it just, I instantly knew it was me. Like I just felt happy, at peace with myself. It's actually when I was smoking weed, I had like this awakening experience where I just felt like this incredible energy just running through me, and I just felt like it was me. Like I finally found myself. And then the next day I went to school. It was just when I was a senior. I had world history class with my teacher, Mr. Fiddler, and I was just like the shit in that class. Like I was, stopping the class and asking questions that would just stop the class for like 20, 30 minutes. And people kind of saw that I was more confident in myself, things like that. So I definitely had that kind of awakening where I felt like I found my real self and my true power. And another aspect to why I named myself OMZ Eternal was because there's so much corruption with government, and I kind of feel like I'm that new voice through my beats for this generation to kind of expose that a little bit, and at the same time kind of bring more awareness to this generation through my music, awareness of what reality is really like, awareness of the foods you eat, genetically modified foods. It's not natural. It's toxic. It can, I mean, genetically modified corn has carcinogens in it, and it can mess up your body over time. I'm trying to like just kind of share my whole mindset with the world about the way that I see.
So through your music, you're trying to sort of serve as a source of power and knowledge to the rest of your generation.
Exactly.
If I'm correct.
Yes, sir.
All right. That was very wonderful, Omar. Thank you for being on the show.
Thank you.
We
buddy.
appreciate your time.
Absolutely.
And be sure to check out Omar's link and the SoundCloud link in the description below. Thank you, and this is AME News.